Hey everyone, and welcome to Comic Breakdown. Now, this is going to be the last issue for this morning that we're going to dive into, but be sure that you guys are subbed and hit that notification bell because we're going to be dropping the other 3 issues later on this evening. And those issues are going to be Swamp Thing, Superman of Metropolis, and Wonder Woman, all coming from Future State. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with Future State, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well at the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything Future State related. In this video, we're going to be diving into Harley Quinn issue number 2 from the Future State line. And with that being said, let's dive into this issue. Okay, so issue number 2 of Harley Quinn. It picks us up at a dinner, and we have a senator talking about how they handled Professor Pig. And now that he's out of the way, he's asking these people to give him more money to use to fight against the masked villains and masked vigilantes within inside of Gotham. But this is when we start to see him choke. And he's asking somebody to help him. And then he's told to calm down because what he was given wasn't a lethal dose. And this is when we see Black Mask. And he lets him know that the paralysis has set in, but it will only be temporary. And he lets him know that he poisoned him. He did this to him because he's been using his money. He's been taking all of his money that he's supposed to be funneling into accounts that aren't traceable. He's actually been taking this money and funneling it straight into the Magistrate, essentially undercutting all the villains and all the crime lords within inside of Gotham. And so for this, Black Mask kills the senator. And then we pick up later that day, and we have Harley Quinn and Crane sitting here going over the crime scene. And Crane is asking Harley Quinn, like, how do we catch them? How do we catch Roman? And Harley really teases with him. She's just like, yeah, it's easy. But Crane doesn't find her antics amusing. And her suggestion is to fight a mask with a mask, because a guy with a mask that walks around with a skull mask on, he's not afraid of anybody, not your average day Joe, but maybe another mask. Maybe Scarecrow might actually put some fear into him. And he immediately turns down the idea, lets her know, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not wearing that mask. And she's like, all right, well, if you're not going to go that way, then you should probably trace where this mask came from, because the Black Mask is handing out all of these masks to his cronies. He has to have some kind of distributor for them. She knows this because her and Joker used to go through masks like crazy. And then she knows of a place where there might actually be some masks being made. And so they show up to this manufacturing building, and the team goes in to clear it out, and their sentry comes online and it attacks them. And it's literally a bloodbath. The sentry turned on them. And Crane blames Harley Quinn, and he grabs her by the neck, and he's sitting there strangling her. And this is when a hologram pops up of Black Mask, and he lets Crane know that he's always going to be many steps ahead of him. The city once belonged to him, and he's going to take it back from the Magistrate, from the sentries, from the mercenaries, the peacekeepers. All of them are going to die. And this is when we cut over to later that day. And Crane is sitting in his office looking at the Scarecrow mask. And what we're seeing is Harley Quinn slowly implanting ideas into Crane's head. And he's thinking, maybe it will work. Maybe I can put on this mask. And this is where he loses it. Throws everything around his office and just says he's done. He's done everything Harley has said, and now he's going to do things his way. Even though this is technically a manipulation that he's not even realizing he's being manipulated to do. And this is where we pick up at the Gotham docks. And Harley Quinn's going around making noise, breaking windows, kicking in doors, trying to make Roman come out of hiding. And this is when he pops up behind her and asks why she's here. And she tries to say that she's here to pledge her allegiance to him, but he knows that this is a trap, that it's bait. And this is when he calls out to Crane. But what he hears back isn't Crane, but it's Scarecrow. And the gas starts coming in, and it takes over. The fear, the terror is within inside of him, and he tries fighting back. He tries shooting at Scarecrow, but it's not working. And then we see Harley Quinn out of left field take her bat and bash Scarecrow in the side of the head. And then Black Mask is asking Harley, like, what are you doing? Like, I know we haven't seen eye to eye, but I appreciate your help. And this is where she goes over and she clocks him too. Puts on the Scarecrow mask and spreads the fear toxin all around so that she can make her escape. And then we pick up a little bit later with Crane being drug out. They have captured Black Mask, but Harley Quinn has escaped. And we see her walking down the alley as she throws the Scarecrow mask into the trash. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. This will close out the Harley Quinn line from Future State. I'm sure we'll get some more stories later on down the line with her intertwined, possibly even her own line, because they've been very adamant on pushing a lot of Harley Quinn comics of recent, which personally I don't mind. I'm not a huge fan of the Harley Quinn lines, but I do like a lot of the things they've been doing. The Harley Quinn animated show on HBO, I personally freaking love that show. But yeah, all in all, this story was actually really good. You know, this was Harley Quinn doing what she has to survive, to be able to stay out of the custody of Magistrate and all that good stuff. And what we see her here is her manipulating Crane. So much to the point that she manipulates him to put on the mask. Puts on the mask and gets into a situation where she could take advantage and take the upper hand and make her escape. And that's been her plan ever since she got caught. Like, let's stop acting like it was anything more than or less than that. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what she was doing. She was diming out, you know, a few people here and there, giving them Professor Pig and stuff like that. That way she could make her escape. And what villain wouldn't do that, especially when we're talking about Gotham villains? So yeah, all in all, I have to give it a, you know, an A+. It was a great comic. The artwork was really fantastic from start to finish. You know, it had a good good beginning, middle, and end. There was enough action in here, but also enough dialogue to make you wanting more, to keep it going. You know, I would really like to see some more Future State Harley Quinn for sure. It definitely sounds like a storyline that would be interesting. The whole idea of Crane no longer having his Scarecrow mask, you know, that's always been an interesting concept to explore and find out exactly how he would be. And, you know, he really turned out to just be a sellout, more or less, working for the Magistrate because that's the winning team. But at the end of the day, that's how Gotham villains work. You know, they'll work for, almost all of them will work for whoever they want, but also whoever's going to come out on top. Yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like this video, and until the next issue.